have rain come through, and for a day or two probably. How are things there in Israel?
Mary Poppins weather. A lot of wind.
Yeah, I knew what you meant right away.
Yes, yes,
A lot of wind. Uh,
yes.
yeah, we seem to every week all winter about Wednesday, Thursday or so get storms and the temperature drops greatly and then a lot of wind, like you're talking about wind.
It's,
That's
there's,
been our pattern.
mm-hmm. It is interesting to follow. Very interesting.
Yeah. It's been very consistent that way, but also very unusual
Mm.
like that. So
It
been
was.
different.
It is interesting because in Israel there was also unusual winter and unusual. How do you say? Days with very very low temperature one after the other, because usually in the winter if it's a low temperature 1 or 2 days, suddenly the sun comes, there's a rest, and then it drops again. But this
Yeah.
winter was unusual, very
Yeah.
unusual.
Sounded like it was.
Hmm.
You have a very long stretch, 90 days or something, you said once of clouds. No
Yes,
sun.
yeah, it's true, it's true, it is true, it's true.
If I disappear a little bit, it's because I've got a couple guys working and I'll have to mute. But
Okay.
so far we're fine.
Okay.
Just a little just a heads up.
Okay. We have friends here on YouTube, Philip and Victoria. Good afternoon, Victoria. Good morning, Philip. We are very happy to see you here. Yes, I see. Philip, can I have a Discord invite, please? Yes, Philip, there is under every YouTube video, there is a link that if you click on it, you can pop into Discord. There's a link under each video. Yes. Yes, Jeff?
Hello to the friends.
Hello to the friends from Jeff here in Minnesota. Jeff, any questions you would like to ask? Here's Fernando.
Oh, hi, Fernando.
Good morning, Fernando. Can you hear us? Maybe he cannot speak at the moment. Jeff, do you have any questions that you would like to ask before we
I
start?
I I see you have a passage in Genesis.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I guess my question is just, what are we going to study?
Yes. It's about, yes, Genesis 18 and the parallel perception.
Oh, it's
Yes.
18. Okay. I
Genesis
saw it.
18. Yes.
Okay.
Genesis 18. Do you have, I mean, people on YouTube, do you have the ability to see the text? Fernando is here on the whiteboard. Yes, I see Fernando. And I would like us to read the text or look at the painting, whatever comes, and to see through the text the parallel lines between Jesus and Isaac. Weinreb in his books find a lot of parallel lines in German, because so far we're just familiar with one book or two books. I mean, Roots of the Bible and the Scroll of Esther that Jill is reading for us.
Hmm.
But in the rest, those were translated to English. But in the rest of his German books, when he writes about Christianity, and he writes
Yeah.
about Christianity, he finds parallel lines between Isaac and Jesus. Isaac was
Yeah.
born in Passover, before was Passover, yes, but in this period of the year. And slowly I would like to approach with you, dive into the text and see the parallel lines. If this is, unless if you have other questions that you would like to ask. And good morning, Ruth. We're very happy that you're here.
Morning, Ruth.
So, would you like to read the text? Is Fernando here? Fernando, can you speak or just maybe listening today? It's not clear.
Shalom, Eti. Shalom, Jeff and Philip, Ruth.
Shalom.
Everybody, shalom.
Shalom.
I can listen and speak it.
That's
I'm happy
good.
to
That's
hear.
good. We are very happy that you're here. Fernando, a little question. How was the Zohar session last night? Did you have a Zohar session on Monday?
In fact, yesterday we used the time to organize the future Zohar meetings.
Yes.
We used the time to talk between friends only and to think how to manage the future meetings, let's say.
Good, good. It fits the time of the year. This is the salvation to think about the future. Very good.
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
fits the time of the year. Very good. So, Fernando, do you have questions before we start about anything?
I'm ready to follow you, Eti. Yes.
Thank you so much. So, who would like to read the text? It is in English here. We have this text. 1 second. Yes.
I can read it from my Bible if you
Yes.
want me to.
I would like to have maybe Victoria just to reflect if there's an ability to see this on YouTube as well. Victoria, can you share with us if the text is clear for the YouTube? To people who are just reading from YouTube, just tell me if I have to lower the text a bit. Now it flipped away completely. It is off. Completely off. I'm sorry. 1 second. Yes, Jeff. Yes, please read.
Well, I think your text disappeared on YouTube.
Yeah, I noticed this. I tried to enlarge the letters, but it disappeared. Yes. I hope now it's Victoria is writing. All is well on YouTube, Betty. Yes, okay. Yes, yes, please. Yes, Jeff.
Right. Excuse me. Got a little tickle. Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I might take the time to say good afternoon as well.
Good afternoon, Philip. Nice to hear.
Everyone.
Good afternoon,
Nice to hear you
Philip.
too, Eddie.
Excuse me?
Nice to hear you too.
Nice to hear you. Good afternoon. How is the weather today in England?
It's all right here today. A little bit muggy, but able to handle it.
Mm-hmm. I'm very happy to hear your voice. And Felipe is here. Felipe, good morning. Can you hear us? Hope you can. Maybe later you can speak. So.
All right. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre.
I can hear you.
You can hear us, Felipe?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning. We're very happy to hear your voice. And Jeff is currently reading from Genesis 18. If you have the ability to look at the text.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Jeff, we can hear you. Felipe, can you hear Jeff? 1 second.
Yes, I hear you all.
Okay, Jeff, Felipe hears you.
All right. Genesis 18, verses 1 and following.
Yes.
The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under the tree. Let me get you something to eat so you can be refreshed, and then go on your way, now that you have come to your servant." "Very well," they answered. "Do as you say." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. "Quick," he said, Get 3 seths of fine flour and knead it and bake some bread. Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "There in the tent," he said. How far would you like me to read, Eddie?
Another, the last verse, which is the most important at the moment, because we would
Okay,
like to
good.
focus. Yes.
Good. Then the Lord said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son."
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I would like us to focus on the Hebrew words this time of the year. This time of the year. I mean, how does the English say at your Bible? Can you repeat, please, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah, I just flipped it. Here.
When the
I'll
season.
get to the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I flipped it. Stuck there. Okay, so which verse was I?
10, please.
Oh yeah, 10. Then the Lord said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son."
Thank
So
you.
it said about this time next year.
This time next year. And I would like us to focus on the Hebrew and see what does the Hebrew give us as a perspective. Ka'et chaya. This time, ka'et chaya. Et. Do you remember the word et in Hebrew? Et.
Yes.
Yes. It's a season or time. Et.
Is that? Let's see. Is that?
Ein.
Yeah.
Ein and tav.
Yeah, Ayin and Tav. Okay, yeah.
Ein
It
and tav.
sounds like Aleph and Tav, but this is Ayin and Tav.
Yes, it's true. It is true. It sounds like et, aleph and tav, but it's et. In a way, we have to pronounce it throatical. Yes? Et, it means time.
Oh.
Like 28 times. Yes, there is a time to love and time, time to sow.
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh yeah, you're talking
Ecclesiastes?
Ecclesiastes, yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the word et, which means, in a way, time or season. Et. But the angel says, ka'et, like this time or this season, chaya. Chaya, animal usually, but in this context, a life giver, meaning she will give life, she will bear a child. And I would like us to focus on the word chaya, not as animal, but as a life giver. The value of chaya is 23. Chet, 8, Yod, 10, Hey, 5. Together, 23. Double 10, we can do it. 230 plus the 3 letters, 233. What is the value? Which
Tree of
word in?
life.
Yes, tree of life. Etz HaChaim, tree of life, gave us 233. Tree of life. This is the meaning of chaya. Now, the interesting thing is if we take the word et, simply it is 70 and 400, but it's ka'et, like this season of the year. Kaf has the value of 20, and here we come at 490. This time of the year, 490. Are you familiar with this number?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
it?
we've become very familiar with that lately. Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. Very good. 1 second. Choose a pen. Bethlehem. Bethlehem.
So how does that work this time of the year?
Yes. Ka'et. Yes, Jeff? Shall I explain? The word this time of the year, at this time of the year, yes? Like, yes?
Has the value 490. Did I catch that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, Bethlehem, do you understand?
Yeah, I'm following.
Now, what happens if we read the verse and change the word ka'et, chaya, with Bethlehem? And what is happening in Bethlehem? The question is, do we read now historical description? Everybody can answer. It is an open question to everyone.
Could think that in Bethlehem we find the tree of life. Like
Yes,
the-
yes, the tree of life is in, yes, is in Bethlehem. And every time, I mean, each year in this season, there is a tree of life in Bethlehem. There is a birth.
Question.
Yes.
Is this literal or is this a metaphor?
It is
Or
abstract
maybe
thinking.
us.
It is abstract thinking.
thinking?
It's lateral thinking, because what happens is there's a word here, et, which means time of season. Ka'et, as the angel says, this time of the year. So this time of the year, ka'et, like this season but next year, has a value of 490. Since it is abstract, I would like to explain it to Philip. It's good that you ask. Very good. I will make another.
That's okay. I think I do get the way that you mean abstract as well. It sounded for 1 second just then that there was a literal tree that you were talking about as the tree of life, and that made me question.
Meaning?
My view on on how we were talking about what we were just talking about.
Yes.
I was thinking the geometry style tree of life that whole time, and then just then it sounded like you were talking about a literal tree of life in Bethlehem. Only reason why I asked.
Oh.
A physical tree.
Oh, no. Nothing,
Yes, yes,
no word that we speak here is physical. When
Even
we
better.
yes, Philip.
Cool. That completely answers the question. Then, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, meaning when we enter class, we leave skin garments outside, and we enter class with light garments.
Perfect.
Yes. So everything here is. It's good that you ask. It's good. I mean, Bethlehem, the concept of Bethlehem, not just a geographical region. The concept of Bethlehem is basically a place when life give birth, or there's a birth of life. this is what the meaning of Bethlehem means, not just the house of bread, literal. It's not, we can say, is Bethlehem a bakery? The house of bread, Bethlehem. Is Bethlehem a bakery?
No.
No. Good.
Actually,
Yes.
I was just wondering here, like the Bethlehem could be read as the house of freedom.
Yes. Yes. The house
But
of
And
bread.
it is
Yes.
and it is opposite to the Beit Oved, that is it's the house of slavery.
Excellent,
I think
excellent, excellent, excellent. Bethlehem is the opposite concept of Bet Avadim, the house of slave. How do you say opposite? Let's make it like this. The opposite concept is Bet Avadim. Bet Avadim, the house of slaves. House of slaves, or slavery.
because
Bethlehem, yes, yes, please.
in this time of year, I think the Pesach. We can read in Parashat Bo, I think,
Yes,
that the Lord God says to Moses that we will take the people not from slavery, but from the house of slavery.
yes,
It.
yes,
And once I read it in Luria, because he gives an importance to this difference of terms.
yes,
It is
yes,
not in fact an slavery, but it's a house of slavery.
yes. Because if we look at Bet Avadim, the house of slavery is Bait, home. Avadim, Eved, slaves start with 70. So we can take it as 7, the house of 7. And Bethlehem, the home or the house, Lechem, Lamed is 30, or we take it as 3. So to take us from the house of slavery, from the 7, and to bring us to the house of 3, the house of the Spirit, the house of freedom. Yes, very good. This is why the Messiah is born in Bethlehem.
Okay, so Bethlehem and the Tree of Life.
Yes. Yes.
It relates to something Weinrib talked about in Roots of the Bible with Tree of Life, bringing forth bread. Right?
Yes.
You recall that, right? Yeah.
Because bread, the abstract concept, now we speak about the abstract.
Right.
Philip, Philip, this is abstract, yes? This is what
Yes.
is the meaning of when we take lechem, bread, 38, 40, this is 78. Value of bread. 78 is 3 times the tetragrammaton. The tetragrammaton, this is his name, his hidden name or simple name, we call it, abstract name. This is Yod Hei Vav Hei. So we have 3 times his simple name. This is the value of bread.
Okay.
Yes, this is 78. It is the same value of a dream. Chalom. Dream. It's the same letters but in a different order, also 78. Meaning 3 times 26. And as we break bread, usually there's we say loaf of bread, something round. Yes, also our dream is round. Our dream does not have when we dream. There is no time, present, past, future. Everything can happen at the same time. Animals can appear, plants can appear. Every object that we dream of has the same value. Everything is equal. This is why Weinreb asks us to look at the Bible as a dream. This is why we can say that 30 and 330 and 300 are the same, because we look at the 3, at the core number. This is a qualitative thinking, lateral thinking. Is that clear?
That makes sense.
Thank you. I think that I heard Felipe was trying to say something. I think that I heard Felipe. Felipe, did you try to say something?
Yes, I was thinking about the passage in when Rachel dies,
Yes.
and she is buried in Bethlehem. So, as we have seen, Rachel is related with the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
And then I was just thinking, why? What could we think about it? Because in a way, the tree of knowledge was buried in Bethlehem, which is the homeland of the tree of life. And I was just wondering what it could mean.
This is true. Rachel is representing the tree of knowledge. She dies on the way to Bethlehem. She is on the way. She died on the way, בדרך. Yes? In a way, the tree of life, yes, is beyond the tree of knowledge. If the tree of knowledge is marking a stop or a death, the tree of life continues. So she died on the way. Does it make any sense, Felipe?
Yes, I am with the text in front of me.
Yes.
And this word badere, it's
Badere.
interesting, right?
Yes, בדרך.
Very interesting.
בדרך אפרת, כן? בדרך אפרת. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed.
You're most welcome. Any questions that you would like to ask Venus, Victoria, Philip? Philip, you can speak by using your Discord, not on YouTube at the moment. But later I will explain you. Questions so far, Fernando, Jeff? Questions? If there aren't any questions, yes? I would like to ask you a question. If this verse that the angel says was not or was not told historically, it's not historically sentenced, at this time of the year, a life giver, what does this verse speak about?
That we are receiving new life.
Yes, we are receiving new life every year. Every
Wow.
year. The tree of life gives us a new year at this time of the year. Yes.
It is an opportunity to be free from this bite avadim, let's say.
Yes.
from the-
Yes, it is
But
open. Yes.
the door is open. You need to get out. It's like
Yes.
this.
Yes. In a way, I read in one of the books of the sages, they call it the salvation. Salvation is being born every time, I mean, in this time of the year. Salvation is being born, and salvation is a living thing. Salvation is not a word in the dictionary. It's a living thing. Salvation. The concept that suddenly a person understands, I don't have to continue this kind of life. I can move on. I can try new things. I can make new friends. I can read different books. I can learn something new. I don't have to continue with the things that I'm doing, but I really don't like them. Sometimes we are so accustomed to do things, used to do things, that we continue to do. We are repetitively doing the same things. We don't like them, but we don't know how to start something new. This is a bondage of slavery, meaning there is no physical person that put cuffs on our hand like policemen, but our habits are binding us to slavery. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you.
Even the good, the things that we report as good things, like the I remember one class that you speak about Nahash
Yes.
as a Nah, and the Shin with like the four
Yes.
walls,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
is a bite of slavery, maybe.
Yes.
Like being comfortable with the scheme that you built,
Yes. Yes. Nachash, serpent. Nunchet is comfortable. Noach or nach, resting, to rest or to be comfortable. Et, the skin, because the shin in a way has 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Instead of writing them in this order like a fork, we take the 4 lines and we make a square house of matter, and we just feel comfortable in the matter. And this is basically the life of a snake. We are comfortable. And Fernando, against this or parallel to this, the students of Luria used to deliberately, with intention, leave the houses with children, to walk in the woods, in the forest, in the Galilee, just to deliberately inconvenience themselves, because it's not good for the spirit that the body feels too much comfort. Too much comfort brings stagnation. And stagnation brings sadness and heaviness and so on. So he used to gather his students, and they just take a walk, deliberately inconvenient themselves, not to feel too much at home in the matter, to get used to move. Questions?
Just one idea that came, this word of Edim,
Yes.
It's interesting because we have the Av, that is 72,
Yes.
and we have Im, that is 50.
Yes.
So we have Chokhmah and Binah in this word, but bounded in the Dalet, in this number 4, in these 4 walls, maybe.
Excellent. Ein and Bet, 72, this is wisdom. Dalet is 4, and Yod and Mem is 50. This is understanding. But wisdom and understanding are binded into the four walls. They're here, they're locked. They're locked in the matter. All wisdom and understanding is locked in the matter, in the Dalet. Very good, Fernando. Very, very good.
Thank you.
There is a question here. Thank you. And I wonder if there is a question on YouTube. If you know of a good resource list of Hebrew words with English translation and values. Oh, this is something that each and every one of us make for himself, because this is his path or her path. So thank you for the question.
Katie,
Yes.
I do not know if I understood well, but I think that this question is asking for a kind of book. Maybe this book could be the roots of the Bible to start it.
Yes, Roots of the Bible. Thank you. Roots of the Bible is a beginner, but once I received a similar letter, and people ask me where there's a list, of numbers and words. But the best way is when person makes his own path. There is a book and there's information, but the synapse, how do you say the synapse? How do you say synapse or synapses, or the relations, is what we do. So yes, there's a good book, Roots of the Bible. Thank you, Fernando, in which Weinreb brings the core names, words, and their value. But the best is to dive into it, to be with a dream. Because once we go through ourselves, through the words, through the numbers, it becomes our world. It's not just external knowledge. It's not about the knowledge. Yes, questions?
I believe you were talking about the value 490 before I took you off track from Bethlehem.
Yes, yes. So
would we like to go from there?
Yes, 490, very good, is also the value of innocent. This is what God asked Abraham before God, let's put it in this way. Abraham is 99 years old, and God is asking him, go in front of me and be innocent. Tamim. The word for innocent in Hebrew is tamim. The value of innocent in Hebrew is 490. And Abraham circumcised himself. Now, what is the relation between innocent and Bethlehem? And this time of the year? Because if we look at the text, and the Lord appeared to him by the terebrins of Mamre. Why the Lord appeared to him? He was recovering from the circumcision. So, he asked him to be innocent. He makes himself innocent, in a way. 490, this is the meaning of innocence. And As a return, the angel comes to visit him after 3 days and promises him, at this time of the year, Ka'et, again 490. So, and this is the divine speech. One second, where is it? God asked Abraham to be innocent, Tamim. Sorry, I'm writing cursive. I'm sorry, like around writing. I'm sorry. I feel that you know Hebrew. Tamim. Innocent. This is what God asked Abraham. And after 3 days, please pay attention. And Jeff, 3 days are 72 hours. Please pay attention to the relation of Jesus.
Okay.
Please pay attention. After 3 days, the angel comes and says, at this time of the year, Ka'et. And this is 490. So Abraham, his action is in the world. He makes himself innocent. In action. And the angel says, there's a mirror. Do you see? In what we act in our daily life, the heavens, do you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Angel and action.
There is a relation between the angel, the speech of the angel, and our actions. And there's also a triangle, which is 490, because we have 3 terms which has the value of 490. Sorry for this, it's not really. Yes, we have Bethlehem. This is 490. Innocent. Tamim. And Ka'et. This time of the year. In a way, God is asking Abraham to be innocent, to prepare a vessel.
Innocent in what way are we talking about here, Eddie?
Innocent is it is interesting. Not to have a mindset of causal thinking, like duality. There are things that we cannot understand, because our tendency is to go with A cause B cause C cause D, like we understand everything. And God says to Abraham, go in front of me, not behind me, like a spy. Try to understand God, because we can't.
So more like God is behind us, in a sense.
We have to go. Yes, you could say that we live. Yes, we go innocent. We go clean, innocent-hearted, and not try to spy of the divine motives.
Hmm.
Yes.
That, you know, that has a lot of implications. So anytime, for example, people would try to predict what God is going to do next, that's spying
Yes.
in a sense.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
To try to say, well, this is, you know, like there was a guy that wrote a book, 88 Reasons Why the Lord is Going to Return in 1988. Then he came out with the sequel, 89 Reasons in 89. Well, he had the sense not to come out with a new book in 1990 because his predictions were wrong. So that would be spying in a sense. That's trying, in a way, isn't that trying to play God? Like you can tell when
Like we
people,
can,
when things are,
yeah, to play or to understand. This is there is communication, but to understand, not. This is why I asked him to go in front of him.
or yeah, or another thing, another aspect like this would be to say how everything should be politically, right? Once you start to jump into that arena, you lose your innocence, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's, you know, I could see a lot of implications here in what you're saying. To be innocent is to accept every day as it comes.
Yes.
Without a fight about it, right?
I mean, to accept, to give it a space to be, and
Yeah.
not to. I mean, this is our tendency to justify or to put things into a frame or formula. We can't. This is to go innocent like a newborn. I don't know everything. What the how do you say, the experience of yesterday does not valid for today. Every moment is a new creation.
Well, and if we pay attention, it proves itself anyway that as soon as you've got a formula about how you think things work, there's an exception that pops up. And for some people, this can be kind of devastating that their formula wasn't right.
Yes.
But if we pay attention, as soon as somebody makes a prediction or something, that's the thing you know isn't going to happen.
Yes.
And people are writing books all the time trying to say what the economy is going to do or different things like this, but it's a waste of your time really to get into that stuff because it's going ahead of God, right?
Yes.
Instead of God being behind us.
Yeah.
Or I guess I said that wrong, but
No,
basically,
I understand. Not
yeah,
to. Yes, I
yeah.
understand your intention. Yes.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
You're welcome. Yes,
Me
Fernando.
too, Jeff. It is like somebody making himself as a god, like saying what is going to happen, but it is not in our control, right?
No, not at all. Not even in a moment. It's not.
Yes. And A.T., I was just wondering here if I could add something as well.
Yes.
That we have a bunch of symbols here, a lot of symbols that take me to one idea. That is this idea that we are leaving Malchut to go to Yesod, maybe to go to to an upper uh, part of the tree of life. Uh, some ideas, the innocent could be read as Yesod, like Joseph, the innocent, because he stands with Hashem. Whatever is going to happen, he only stands with the hidden, and he is the one who makes the connection between the upper parts and the lower parts. He brings life even to Mitzrayim, He was the one who brings everything to this realm. And now we are reading the story of Abraham and his circumcision. And the circumcision also points to the restriction of the matter,
Yes.
Like we are taking a part out, the exceedent part, that is the manifested part, and going to the realm of the alliance, let's say, to the Brit, that is in Yesod. And so I'm just looking at these ideas and wondering if this kind of year we have a special opening to Yesod, this secret of the alliance, the secret of the Brit, the Yod, the secret of the Yod.
Yes, it's very good that you connected this with Joseph. I would like to open a text from the Haggadah, the story of going out of Egypt. Read in the Haggadah about 4 sons. 4 sons. So, like it is 4 sons, but it's parallel to the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton. You can imagine that the 4 sons are basically the 4 letters, and each letter, 1 second, I will move the pen to a thicker 1 second line that I could write it. Each letter reflects another son and quality. So we have 4 sons. Chacham, I will write here in Hebrew and translate. 1 second, the Hebrew on the right, English on the left. I have to organize. 1 second. We have Chacham. We have wise. We have Rasha. Rasha is evil. We have innocent, Tam. And the one who וזה שאינו יודע לשאול, וזה שאינו יודע לשאול, the one who doesn't know even how to ask a question. 1 second. I did not write it beautifully. 1 second. וזה שאינו יודע לשאול. The one who doesn't know how to ask. We have 4 sons. You can read about it later. So Chacham, the wise, is against the Yod. This is the wise son. The wise because this is wisdom. So to speak, the evil is here. I will explain it later because we speak about understanding. And I will explain this dissonance later. The innocent here, Tam. This is the innocent. Do you see Fernando? And the one who doesn't know how to ask is here. Doesn't know how to ask. because he's so far. This is the Malchut, the heavenly kingdom is so far that doesn't have even question. A person who has a question, he tries to connect. Even if we ask people on the street, excuse me, do you know what the time is? No, everybody has a phone and a clock, but if we ask a question, any kind of question, not others, also ourselves, and higher, it means we want to connect. But if we don't ask anything, in a way it's disconnection. So we have 4 sons against the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton, and the innocent is the Vav, and you were connecting it to Joseph. Fernando. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it is an opportunity to be innocent again, like brand new start, maybe.
The 4 sons are the 4 aspects of our being. There is an aspect in people which is wise. There is an aspect of understanding. The evil, it means that when a person understands something, or in a way the Binah is a sphere of understanding, the Binah is like a pregnant woman, and there is like a process of delivering babies, and in the process of delivering babies is like delivering understanding about life, and in the process of birth there's a blood which comes from the process. And sometimes when we understand, we disconnect ourselves from people who don't understand. So, but this is quite deep, all this relation with understanding and the second son. This is quite deep, though it seems a bit, how do you say, like a cognitive dissonance. This is very deep. But all those 4 aspects are happening in all of us all the time. We have a wise aspect, we have understanding. When we understand things, we remove ourselves from others, and so there's an innocent part in us, and sometimes there's a part of disconnection that we don't even ask. So it's not about external people or external brothers or so. Those are 4 aspects. This is why the hay, in a way, here symbolizes, in a way, the generation of slavery. If we go according to the theme that Weinreb gave us. The last day will bring here Moses, is the completion of 26, and this is the going out of Egypt. Questions, or did I go so too far?
There's an element of being mature about when to use the opportunity as well. God entrusts you with your abilities so far, especially the ones that can have a lot of impact in the future, will give you that ability if you're with the maturity also to be able to not use it in moments where it's not needed.
Yes. Yes. That's true. That's true. Questions or thoughts that you would like to share? Fernando, Felipe, Jeff?
Well, excuse me. I think that what Philip said there about not using those gifts when they're not needed is a very wise thing that connects with walking with the Spirit. You know, the Spirit brings out things when in a timely fashion at the right time and when they're needed, and that's why we can't afford sometimes to just go in our own timing or our own thinking, and that kind of relates to the innocence again. Innocence would be walking with the Spirit, um, going with that flow, and this is something that we can't predict. Jesus said it's like the wind. You don't know what direction it's going to come from at times, um, where it's going, where it came from, this kind of thing. He said, so it is with the Spirit. So, um, again, with the innocence, and it's all kind of just, as you brought it out, Eddie, it's the implications of this are now working in my mind. But he said, be innocent like doves. And, you know, they're not there plotting and planning things out so much, and they're not harmful to people. And a lot of these things that we come up with are actually harmful to people if we think that we know everything. You know, they might depend on a man or a philosopher or something rather than the Word of God, rather than what the Spirit's leading or saying. And this is what we all need to do. It's what you're describing here is this inner
Yeah,
sovereignty. There's these four aspects of inner sovereignty, which requires us not to look to man, but to God. That sound like
of course.
I'm on with what you're the course here, Eddie?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
You'll
Yeah.
get your ability when you're able to walk in front of God with the faith.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, there we
yes,
go.
yes, yes.
Mm. Parallels.
Yes, it is true. It is true because Noah, unlike Abraham, he needed a lot of support. But go in front of me. It means go with your belief, without my help. In a way, babies, they need the support. Somebody will hold their hand in the first step, like Noah. But from Abraham, he asked, go in front of me. Go independently. That the belief will be your companionship, not my help. And this is the meaning of innocence.
Definitely.
I'm really glad that you helped us with thinking on that, Eddie. Um, you know, there's a lot of different uh, conceptions about innocence, but I think this is really the essence of what God's word is aiming at with us. Like you say, to go with belief and to put that belief in the trust
Mm-hmm.
that God he's at work, and it's all for the good. It's all for the good, whether we can picture it or not. That's another thing in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But our belief is that he's got this for our good. We got to stay with that belief, whatever's going on.
Yes.
These definitely are light-filled type conversations.
Yes, indeed. Just one idea, if I may add it. I
Yes.
know that we are almost out of time. But yesterday I was reading Carl Gustav Jung, one of
Yes.
his last books,
Yes.
and it was interesting to read it because he was speaking about the book of Zohar and
Yes.
the relationship between Tiferet, Malkut, and Yesod.
Yes.
And one of the symbols that he puts on Yesod is the amicus fidelis. It's like the loyal friend,
Yeah.
the loyal friend. Because the loyal friend is pure.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what is happening. The work of the loyal friend is only to support uh, Malchut, the manifested, and integrated it with the hidden, the Tiferet, like make only to permit the flux on the two worlds, like to not to put his will in the middle. It's only to make a vessel to permit the flow of energy.
Yes, this is it. This is it. Because if you take the first word of Tiferet, beauty, Tav, and the first letter of Malchut, kingdom, this is Mem. This is Tam, innocent. And the Yod is just a connector. It's just a, how do you say, a bridge. Because Yesod is loyal. Yesod does not do anything, how do you say, selfish. He just brings all the abundance that comes from above. Like I will, with your patience, I will make this in a second. Yes, this is, so to speak, Tiferet, the beauty, the heart, and this is Yesod, foundation. This is Malchut, the heavenly kingdom. So Tiferet, the beauty, wants to give everything, because Tiferet, how do you say, unites the six spheres. We have like unification of six, like the Vav. Wants to influence everything to the Malchut here. And through what? Through what? The tunnel or the canal here is Yesod. So, if we take the first letter of Tiferet, Tav and Mem, this is Tam, innocent, and the Yesod is just a bridge. So this is the meaning of being innocent.
Beautiful. I didn't expect the first letter of Tiferet and Malchut, but it is in front of us. It is beautiful what you just wrote. Thank you.
This is what the Bible says, that Jacob was Tam, innocent man, dwelling in the tents. Tam, like innocent. Just he would like to connect and give. He doesn't make calculation. What happens is usually when people try to be smarter than everybody else. They can figure it out. They can write formulas. They know everything. This is the opposite of innocence.
Right. And then they can, once they think they have it figured out, charge everybody for it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
This is how
But
they. Yes.
the gifts of the Spirit are free, though. You're helping people out of love.
Yes. Yes.
You're not trying to make all this money off of people that way.
Yes.
Hey, before we do run out of time, what sort of picture did we have with today's verses.
Rembrandt, Abraham, and Isaac. I just wanted to connect to what Weinreb says. Here we see Abraham. Isaac is holding the woods. He take him to the Mount Moriah, and it's a very delicate picture. How, in a way, maybe Abraham tries to explain. We can go into it in details, but at the moment we are short in time because maybe people need to leave to their own business or life. I would like us to look at this in a way, and this is what Weinreb also offers, that the way Abraham turns to Isaac before he sacrifices him is the way God addressing Jesus. Because the sacrifice of Isaac, because Isaac, we once explained that the value of Isaac, Yitzchak, is 208. This is 8 times the 26. This is according to the value of the name. But Isaac, when his father binds him, he binds the 4. He binds the 2 arms and the 2 legs. He binds the 4, and his head is left free. Also, Jesus is put on a cross. Weinreb speaks in his German books about the parallel lines between the binding of Isaac and Jesus on a cross. He writes about it deeply. At the moment, we cannot go into the mathematical aspect of it, but just one thing I would like to seal our conversation is that Isaac is born at the night of the Passover, because he was born a few years before they went into Egypt and they left as the Exodus. But he was born in the mid of Nisan. And in a way, what we celebrate is Easter as the reincarnation of Jesus, or the return of the Spirit, because also Isaac was binded, and when his father lifted a knife, he lost in a way part of his life. His soul ascended, but he gained new life after Abraham understood something. It is quite deep because in a way we're dealing with the text, with Abraham and Isaac, with Jesus. There are many, many things, the relation of 1 to 4, because yes, yes.
It is. I'm sorry. I know that we went far, but if you could go to the Tree of Life just again, what the draw that you made, connecting Tiferet to Malchut, because you speak about the purity and the cross, and what came to me is that we have this both Sephira Netzat and Hod, right?
Yes, yes.
Once I read that these two Sephirot is like twins. They
Yes.
are twins. And twins is still mean, right? It's also pure. So we have purity in the vertical line between Tiferet and Malchut, and we have purity in the horizontal line, that is Netzai and Hod. Just and it makes a cross. We can make it as a cross, but here in an abstract level, like connecting the horizontal and the vertical with the same level of purity. Maybe.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So just thank you so much, Fernando, for your illumination. So
I
just
think
yeah, I'm very happy that you bring your thoughts and your insights into conversation. Very, very good. So as Isaac was gaining a new life, also Jesus is coming again, coming of Christ in a way. He was bound, and I mean he was like tied into four, but he comes again and comes again and comes again. But this is a topic for itself. If you have access to the German blog of Dieter, or if you have access to Weinreb books in German about the New Testament, he writes a lot about this equivalent between Jesus and Isaac. And this is happening at this time of the year. At this time of the year. Because Isaac was born in the 14th, 15th of Nisan, when Passover is happening, and this year Easter is happening in Pesach. It is very, very deep. Very, very deep.
So in abstract thinking, the parallel with Isaac's bounding.
Yes.
Someone correct me if that's wrong. Being parallel to Jesus's hanging.
Yes. Yes.
How is the layout of that come together?
Yes, since Isaac in the book for Roots of the Bible, there is a description, but it doesn't. Weinreb does not describe Jesus, only Isaac, because it's root of the Bible in a way, the Old Testament and so. But he's binding both of his arms 2, and legs is 2 together, 4. So the father, and I say father and not Abraham for a reason, because father can be considered also as a god. So the father binds the 4 separate parts of the son. The 4 separate parts are 2 arms and 2 legs. 2 arms and 2 legs are together 4. In relation to the head, which is 1. So we have 1 to 4. So the Father binds the 4, the manifestation in time, in order that the potential will continue to stream infinite life. Because if he would not bind the 4, limit the 4, in a way the manifestation will kill completely the child. This is
the spirit.
Yes.
The child is the spirit. So, and it's also the covenant of promise that God gave Abraham, and it goes right all the way through Isaac, right through the cross, and that promise continues on to us.
Yes. Plus the name Isaac, Yitzchak, is not just the meaning he shall laugh. He shall laugh to the life of the matter. This is basically it. But we can divide the name Yitzchak into 2 parts. Ketz is the end. Chai, alive. The end is alive. What does it mean? When the end comes to the flesh, then finally the soul is relieved. It is opposite than what we think. There are many ways to explain the name Isaac. One of them is to divide the 4 letters into 2 words, Ketz Chai, when the end is alive. It's the it's the end of flesh, but it's the freedom of the soul from the bondage of the matter.
Yes, I see.
And if we want to do this, it's a lot of work and preparation. I call it work and preparation to take the binding of Isaac and Weinreb goes to the profoundly and deeply. How in a way how do you say the relation to the Messiah starts in the story of binding Isaac, because Isaac, in a way, he's the first child ever being born to be circumcised in the 8th day. Abraham circumcised himself when he's 99 years old. But in the same speech to Abraham, he asked him to circumcise every baby around his household when they're 8 years old, 8 days. He's circumcised at the 8th day. And his name is Isaac, which has the value of 8 times the tetragrammaton. And the Messiah, Mashiach, is anointed with oil, shemen. Shemen is oil. With the letter He of Binah, this is Shmone, 8, or Neshama. The same letters of Shmone, 8 is Neshama, the same letters in a different order. Do you see how everything is connected?
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you saying that because the binding happened to 4 parts of the body, if he bound the 5, it would have killed Isaac, but because it was only 4 and he didn't end up dying, is the parallel?
Yes. The soul is alive.
Understood.
The soul is alive.
Okay.
The potential is alive. The body can perish, but the soul continues. It is we are in the modern
Definitely.
world. We look at the
Yes.
body as a statue of liberty, but it's a temporary housing for the soul. The soul just moves through houses. Once the soul
It's
comes,
the material
yeah.
manifest, definitely. So just to make sure I'm not getting this wrong,
Mhm.
there is the parallel between the binding of Isaac and Jesus on the cross.
Yes, yes. This is the archetype. Where is Fernando? Fernando, archetype. Is, Carl Jung
Yes.
maybe wrote about it or not. I'm not sure. But the archetype of Jesus starts here. This is the archetype.
Right. It's the pattern that he came, and kind of the prophecy about his coming on the.
And the holy the holy day for the Christians is the 8th day, the Sunday, because there's
Right.
Shabbat, the 7th day, but the holy day is what? The 8th day, Sunday.
Yes, and maybe just for the internet as well. Did this happen over the Easter weekend also?
Isaac was born, yes, Isaac was born in Passover before there was slavery in Egypt. He was born in the 14th or 15th of Nisan. Yeah, when Passover, Easter is happening. Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
So it's a very, very significant pattern that's established right there.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good to talk about that. Thank you.
You're most welcome, because this year everything comes together. It was very important for me to speak about those parallel worlds as Weinrib speaks about them.
And it's important. Well, the fact that it's a pattern as well, but just got a chance to see it, and maybe even a chance for someone else.
It's amazing. And like you say, you just said it's an archetype, so we are living this drama right now,
Yes.
within. So you give it the clue. It's to bound the four into the one.
Yes.
Maybe this is the task of the Pesach and Easter.
Yes, and this is what happens very good in the Pesach. One day ago, or on Saturday, we were seeing a picture by what's his name, Victoria's friend. Do you remember the German painter who made the Passover? How everybody's conceived in their home. Julius, yes, Julius Schnorr, and he to bind the four into the one, because at the 10th of, and this is the speech to Aaron and Moses, in the 10th of Nisan, take the lamb, in the 10th, take the lamb, and bind it, its four legs under the bed, like. To bind the four, this is of course symbolic, yes? To bind the four into the one, like for 4 days until we arrive at the 14th of Nisan. And then in a way there's a sacrifice in the 14th of Nisan. We say a lamb is a se, this is Shaddai, Shin. We sacrifice the dai, enough for the matter, enough. And what is left is the Shin, the spirit. It's the same structure that works in the binding of Isaac, because the birth also of Isaac, he was born in this specific day of the year. Also, the angel came to Abraham at this time of the year, telling him, this time, Ka'et, the innocent will be born. Everything sits on the same time sequence. This is why it is valuable to speak about those things, because they're happening now.
Yeah. It's the story of redemption.
Yes.
Redeeming love.
Yes.
From the Father, isn't it?
Yes.
His redeeming love to our soul.
It is true. The redeeming is to, in a way, to bind the four, is to bind the animal part in us. Not just animal that give life, but the wild animal. To bind it, to limit, in order that the spirit could go in front.
Go in front, yes, beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful, the spirit to go in front.
Thank you, Victoria is writing the name. Yeah.
Instead of being held in a box or captured or held back, it's allowed to go in front.
Yes.
And be leading. Instead of the four leading us and us being bound by it, we bind the four so that we can be led by the Spirit.
This is it. This is the salvation. And salvation in Hebrew, Geulah, has the value of Adam, human, man. There's a man who's walking with God, with the Spirit in the Garden of Eden, not just a wild animal riding cars and...
Yeah, I think it's coming out here, Eddie. The understanding of this is coming out in a great way.
Well, that's good we went through that as well.
Thank you for your patience.
Wow, thank you so much.
It's the thanks, the great thanks are for you.
Uh, Thank you so much for this amazing class with you.
You're most
Thank you,
welcome.
friends. Philip, Jeff.
I wish it I wish it would never end.
Me too, me too. I will continue with my heart and soul with you. So I would like to wish you a very
Yeah.
beautiful day and a good
So,
weather.
so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy,
Thank you.
happy Holy Week.
Happy
Everybody.
Holy Week.
Yes.
Amen.
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 Amen.